We have some breaking news this morning and some very tragic news to break to y'all this morning. And it is raising a lot of different concerns in the country. A lot of people are verbal when it comes to the race side of this tragedy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me go ahead and break the news for you real quick. One second here. Let's go ahead and give y'all a rundown on the situation. If I can find my notes here. Hold on a second, people. Hit the like and share button. I'm gonna really give y'all a lot of great stuff today. I don't waste your time with these kind of stories. But what happened was, and I will be letting y'all see the video. All right, so the victim in this fatal unaliving was Iryna Zarutska, a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee who fled the war in Kyiv, and she was fatally poked on a Charlotte NC light rail train August 22nd, which was a while back. That's at least 2 weeks ago. So I don't know why this is becoming a popular story today. It should have been popular the day of. I do see a bias in the media on that level to where if this was a white man stabbing a black woman, I do think that would have been front page. It would have been made headlines. So one thing I want y'all to take right off the bat, stories like this proves what Tupac said years ago. What he said, don't get caught up in the midst, because the media is full of dirty tricks. And the media in America is just disgusting when it comes to race relations and these very tragic incidents that raise controversial conversations among us Americans. And you know, the liberals and the conservatives are guilty of this, because your liberal media platforms are just as guilty as your conservative ones. In America nowadays, it doesn't pay to be a liberal or a conservative. No different does it pay to be a Crip or Blood. So stay away from people that claim gangs, and understand that liberalism and conservatism is just a political rich man's Crip and Blood. Neither side have the answers, and each side is there to keep us divided. Nowadays in America, it pays not to pick a side, but to always think outside the box. In the book of Revelation, it said, let the man with the eye see, let the man with the ear hear, something of that nature. You can't obey that scripture in Revelation if you are picking sides, because you're not listening, you're not hearing, you picking sides, and you're going to say and regurgitate what your side stands for. So you can't think freely in a box. And situations like this in America really going to require us as a community to really think freely with our mind, from a human perspective, not from our conservative mind or our liberal mind, when we have to discuss these very tragic incidents. So the suspect in this poking is Decarlos Brown, and we already know that's like the equivalent of Pookie or Ray Ray right there. The moment you say Decarlos Brown, then yes sir, I'm locking my damn doors. We got to watch Decarlos Brown's. Now he's a junior, and the boy make his daddy name look bad. We got a lot to talk about Mr. Decarlos Brown and his motive. But he was arrested at the next stop, so he stayed on the train with her body. Can you imagine the people on board? Oh, man. So he stayed on board after the unaliving and was arrested at the next stop. Surveillance video shows that he poked her 3 times after she sat in front of him, and apparently unprovoked. And I saw the video. You'll be able to see it. Very unprovoked. So he's charged with first-degree murder on a state level and now faces federal charges for causing death on a mass transportation system, an offense that could carry the death penalty. It should, and I won't lie to you, he deserves death. We shouldn't waste our tax dollars and oxygen for people like this. They're never gonna be a benefit to society, and why should we just house them? I'm such a big fan of the death penalty. I feel like if Jesus was put to death, any fucking body can be. You ain't no better than God. And God ain't do nothing but tell the truth. You murdering people and doing all the devil's work. I am a fan of the death penalty, and we should bring back the cross too. We should crucify these Negroes. So everyone bringing up the mental health context of Mr. Brown. He has at least 14 prior arrests, and he has a documented history of paranoid schizophrenia. People, I'm going to tell you something right now that I know you're not going to want to hear. We can't make this a race issue. We got to take the color off of this. We got to take the color away from this. And we got to look at the individual. 14 prior arrests. This is not a conversation about black and white. This is a conversation about the revolving door that we have as the prison system. I'm going to tell y'all something I know coming from the South. It is murderers walking around who got the whole block in fear. Everybody know they'll kill you. And guess what everybody know? They'll be out in a few months. They got money and good lawyers. And even if they didn't, the revolving door in America, see, Trump want to go and lock people up. He want to send out the National Guard. But you just gonna let them right back out. And that's because it's not about stopping crime. It's about keeping y'all in fear so they can sell you political arguments so that we can go into this police state, this digital government. This man is crazy, y'all. And you got to be crazy to just out the blue stab a person like that. Now, yes, there's a lot of evil inside of this man. But I see a person that ain't mentally right. I can't look at skin tone because guess what? I have a lot of vitriol toward white supremacy and the nation of America that wronged my people. But I'm a black man. I don't hate all white people. I feel sorry for what happened to this woman. And I think that the black man did it should get the death penalty. I'm on white people's side. I'm on America's side. I'm on the truth, what's right side. And in this case, it's right, and he was wrong. We can't make it a color thing because there are so many black people who have vitriol toward white supremacy in America. But they don't want to walk up to some random white innocent teenager, young adult, and stab him in the neck. In fact, there are a lot of black people who hate the KKK. They hate white supremacy, but they will put their life on the line to save a white baby because they don't see them as, we're not just looking at white skin as you're a white supremacist. No, I have so many white brothers So many white people who support me genuinely, and I love them. I love all colors of people. I love people that's on my frequency, my vibration. This is not a race thing. This is a problem in America with our criminal justice system. And I have a law enforcement background, people, and I know what I'm talking about. The worst people in these communities get a smack on the wrist, just like the PDF files. The most dangerous threats to our children, to our public safety, they get a smack on the wrist, man, a revolving door. The average working man that messes up, or maybe he may write a bad check, or I don't know, something nonviolent, he's gone for years. I've seen it, folks. Seen people selling dime bags of weed go to jail for years. And people who touch little kids, well, let me just stop right there, because there's a problem in America with the biggest, and it's almost like in the Bible when the people wanted Barabbas to be free, but they wanted Jesus to go on a cross. And it's this criminal justice system tend to favor Barabbas. And it seemed like the worst of society get the most chances in the criminal justice system. How many people in my chat room grew up in these environments like I did, where the worst people in those environments keep getting out of jail? And people will say, well, he's snitching. That ain't always the case. We have a revolving door of a criminal system. And this is the conversation that we need to be having with this incident, because Decarlos Brown had 14 prior arrests and a documented history of paranoid schizophrenia. It's two things where America is failing us when it comes to protecting and serving us. We pay tax dollars for these services. And here's how we're being failed. A lot of people that's doing the stuff that Decarlos doing, they ain't black gang members or black street people from the hood. They are crazy, mentally ill people. And because America is taking our tax dollars and don't give a crap about the mentally ill, we suffer. There are no programs and institutions in an American society where we can house the mentally ill. So we treat the prison like a mental institution where we have a revolving door of these crazy people in our community. And you know it because some of you live in them. And you see that crazy man out of jail again yelling at old women in front of that store, harassing those old women, threatening them with objects. Everybody got this crazy dude in the hood, and he'll hit you. He crazy. You better watch out. But he crazy, right? He's crazy, but he's harmful. They want to see people. A lot of these crimes start on a mental institution. They're trying to equate violence with blackness. And what we're seeing is that America is saying there's a problem with black violence. I didn't know violence had a color. I thought violence had a profile and a criminology. See, when we want to talk violence and crimes, we should never talk skin tone. We should talk criminology. I have a law enforcement background. What make people do stuff like what Decarlos did isn't their skin color. If that's the case, Sanchez will be poking folks. What makes Decarlos do that is the same reason that made Dylan Roof do it. See, because Dylan Roof was deemed insane. Dylan Roof unalived more than one black person. It wasn't a hate crime. We automatically knew, and I agree with them. I'm going to be honest with y'all. You may not like it, black people. What Dylan Roof did to those black people wasn't necessarily a hate crime. You see, I put necessarily because Dylan is more mentally ill than he is racist. How I know? There are white people that hate black people more than Dylan. There are some white men. Remember, Dylan Roof wasn't a KKK member. There are some Aryan Brotherhood. There are some white men out there that hate black people more than Dylan Roof. But they ain't shooting up black churches. You know why? They ain't crazy, dude. Facts. They ain't crazy. Some of this stuff is beyond you just being racist. First, you're crazy. You know how many racist black people that I know that ain't gonna do what Decarlos did? I'm not gonna say Decarlos Brown wasn't racist, but I'm gonna say he was crazy first. He was cuckoo first. Then he was racist. And I would do that for Dylan Roof too, because I don't see a lot of racist white folks just busting up in the church. You got to have a detachment from reality. A lot of people want to wake up and shoot their boss today at work, but they ain't crazy. The crazy people will act out these weird thoughts in their head, while sane people will say, nah, that's crazy. I'm not going to do that. Why? Because you're not crazy. That's why you ain't going to do it. Now, we all may have some crazy thoughts sometime, but none of us are crazy, so we ain't going to act out the crazy thoughts. There are some people in America that are being failed because our mental institutions don't exist. There are some people whose mental makeup, it makes it hard for them to distinguish between reality and fantasy. So they tend to act out their fantasies or their crazy thoughts. This is literally what makes a person crazy. They live in a dream-like sort of reality. If you can feel what reality is like through the eyes of a Decarlos or a Dylan Roof, it's almost like they're in a movie. They're in a dream-like environment, and there is no barrier in between their imagination and what they're gonna do physically. And that barrier is what we call sanity. It's what we call sanity. It's the barrier in between me thinking about something crazy and me doing something crazy, right? Every human in the world have thought a crazy thought. That don't make you crazy, but you are crazy when you start manifesting your crazy ass thoughts. That's when you need help mentally. And when you don't get the help mentally, guess who suffer? I do. Guess who suffer? This young woman who died, was unalived on this train. So a little bit more, we got to talk about Decarlos Brown instead of black violence. I'm going to say this again because they're censoring the truth. I'm going to always give you a level-headed analysis. It's not liberal. It's not conservative. It's common sense, man. It's common sense. I'm not picking a side. I'm in search of the truth and for the righteous conclusion. And it's obvious because I have a very intelligent response to this situation, not to stroke my own ego. Because this ain't the time to do that. It ain't the time in this tragic time to do that. But it's definitely not the time to make it a left and right political conversation. It's definitely not the time to talk about black violence. It's time to talk about the criminal justice system in America. How it favors the worst of our society, and how it don't matter how evil you are if you got money. Even this is not Decarlos Brown, but see, the thing about this is there is a revolving door, because there's like a scam of keep running these people through the prison system. It's gonna what this does statistically Because when they look up crime in the area, they're going to count up the number of arrests. And here go the game that they play. Because you got a lot of crazy people that get arrested 20 times, 30 times. And because the city ain't got no mental institutions, they use jail as a mental institution. And I'm going to tell you another sad thing why you should be concerned. If you got loved ones that's mentally ill, they are very likely to be unalived by police, because there is no protocol for police to deal with the mentally ill. So they're going to treat the mentally ill like you're a threat, like you can be a little bitty retarded child with a play gun, and they put the gun down, put the gun down. Like, dude, it's an autistic baby, but I don't know if that's real. There is no protocol, right, for dealing with the mentally ill. That's a can that's kicked down the road into our backyard as the American taxpayers. And the scam that they're running, right, on black people when they talk about black violence, they say, listen, when they talk about where's the most crime at, right? Don't you know they determine that statistic by counting arrests? They simply count the amount of arrests that's made in an area. But they're not telling Americans most of these arrests are the same people. Right. What they're not telling Americans is that people like Decarlos Brown with 14 prior arrests. You know how many Decarloses it is with 20 priors, 30 priors? A person may ask themselves, why do the city keep running these people through? People, the money is in the statistics. The budget that they're cutting for all of these police chiefs and people in the criminal and the law enforcement industry, the criminal justice industry or whatever, that's a big budget that the government's cut in high crime areas. You hear me? In places like Memphis, places like Baltimore, Chicago, the government have to allocate certain funds to keep us safe, right? But the thing is this: if everyone's safe, the money just sit there untouched. If everybody worried, then this money can give a lot of people raises. It can buy fancy equipment for your police that they don't need. Is more money involved. If these cities can't show the government that there's a lot of arrests being made in their area, they don't get to tap into that budget. What do these cities do? They do what's called a revolving door. And what you won't realize, you will think that some of these cities are just horrible. I'm going to tell you, as a black man that grew up in the murder capital of the world, because Birmingham, Alabama was the murder capital of the world for a couple of years in the 90s. I grew up during that time. And just like a kid growing up in LA around gang violence, you may not like what I'm going to say. It's not as bad as the media make it. It's bad, and something need to be done about it. But the people who making it bad ain't doing nothing about it. The people who keeping it real about the situation are the ones with the boots on the ground. You can't over-exaggerate the problem if you're really doing something about it. But if you're trying to capitalize from a budget from the problem, you got to act like, oh, it's out of control. The truth is that there are always a few cancer cells in these communities. And what do our systems do to handle these type of personalities? It's a mental profile. I know this working in law enforcement, that it is a certain profile. There are things we can do on a social engineering level to reduce the amount of criminal-minded individuals in a society, and we don't do that. In fact, we do just the opposite, and we actually breed the criminal mindset at a young age via music and all sorts of other things in this country. Even that don't work, because the majority of people in the black community aren't criminals. They just working hard to get by. They just hard-working people. I know y'all don't like to hear that. You watch too much TV. You watch too much, and you probably ain't from one of these communities like me. But the majority of people in Memphis are great people. Beautiful black people. Why you think so many churches there? These people want to go to heaven, man. You ever thought about that? Like, all of these ghettos with all this violence got hella churches. Sanchez got his Bible right here. I want to go to heaven too. I'm from a violence-ridden community and even have had my share of partaking in some buffoonery, right? But you can't criminalize an entire group of people for what a handful of people in that community are doing. And I'll say the same about the black people in LA County who are all being looked at as gang members. If you're a young man on your way to school and the police treating you like a gang member, but you're a college student, in my mind, shit, you might as well become one, man. Because you doing everything in America to show I'm not like one of them, and they gonna still treat you like one of them, sir. You'll say, hey, that's right. You mean to tell me, Sanchez, they gonna treat me like a criminal when I'm a good guy? You're a black guy. And that's the problem with us using words like black violence. If America got a violence issue, that's it. That's it. You can't say, well, that's a white violence issue or yellow violence or Asian. It's just a violence problem. And then we got to talk about the mentality of the most violent people in America. Guess what they all have in common? Paranoid, schizophrenia, mental illness, 14 prior arrests. Make you say, why isn't he put away somewhere in an institution or even behind bars? Because I know America is not going to treat the mentally ill. You're just going to throw them in jail. And sad, but true, I must say, at least do that. But see, when it comes to them using the mentally ill to fake and forge statistics to make certain areas look like they're just ridden with crime, when really they're ridden with systems like the revolving door policy, which promotes the same people to keep doing the same things over and over in that community. I know what I'm talking about, because in all of these black communities, everybody know who the killers is, so why don't the police know it? You can go to any hood in America and the streets talk. The streets know who the shooters are. The streets know who the most violent people in the hood is. And guess who else know, y'all? The police. And you got to ask yourself, why aren't the most violent people behind bars? Because if we get all the bad apples off the street, statistics will show that Memphis is a great community. Chicago ain't as bad as you think. It's too many people in jail for writing checks, for doing, stuff that rich people get away for every day. Like, it's a lot of people in jail, the majority, for non-violent crimes. But these are crimes against the system, against the rich man. That'll put you in jail for 30 years, man, if you hack into a banking system. Or if you're doing these white collar crimes, you're gonna do more jail time than a PDF file, than some black gang member who's shooting the block up every day. They gonna be out of jail. But if you Let's say you rob a bank. You finna go to jail for a while, but let's say you rob a black man. You'll be out soon, don't worry about it. You'll be out probably in a few months. There's a double standard in America on who gets protection and who get to be served. It's no longer protect and serve, it's indoctrinate and throw them away. We're going to make you a criminal, and when you do a crime, we're going to lock you up. We're going to create the problem, then solve it once it hatch as an adult with mental illnesses. This is the criminal justice system in America. It's a scam. It's a big industry where they make more money promoting violence than preventing it. Everybody want to pat Trump on the back for sending in a National Guard. I'll pat these guys on the back when they enforce preventive measures, because I'm going to show you one of the biggest hypocrisies in America. When you talk about a police forces across the nation that's there to protect and serve, right? But you can't protect and serve if you're not leading first with preventive measures. Because if you can't prevent crimes from happening in the first place, how the hell are you going to protect me? That's right. Tell you a situation, because I watch a lot of true crime. I'm going to tell you a story, right? A lot of domestic violence cases where the woman gets unalived, she reported to the police several times, but they don't do nothing to the boyfriend but let him back out and go to the same house. The system is flawed. It can't protect and serve us because it's in its own way with policy. The only way you can protect me is to prevent someone. The way our law works is they respond after you get shot by a criminal. They don't have any systems to prevent people just from becoming shooters anyway. And that's something we can do. See, ain't no preventive measures. And you can see that true in a lot of the most violent cities, right? But what you will see in these so-called violent cities is a big old revolving door system for them to keep those statistics high. These cities are making money. It's a free budget that the government got open for your city to fight crime in your area because it's out of control. And they got to show on paper that it's crime ridden. And they are counting arrests. They're counting arrests. And if you got one person with 14 arrests, one person with 30 arrests, how many criminals do you really got in that area? Because the statistics are very deceptive. We should count criminals, not arrests. Did you know that if you wanted a more accurate representation of crime in an area, why should we do that? If we count criminals, we know how many people per 100 citizens is likely to do X, Y, and Z, whether it be a robbery, whether it be a murder. And we have a database of individuals to where we won't have an individual with 14 prior arrests, because everyone focuses on counting arrests as an incentive. Cities are literally competing for who can get the most arrests. The police don't care if you stay in jail. It's like fishing in Bama, right? We call it sport fishing. And that's when you go fishing, you catch a fish and you throw it back out. You don't keep it, right? And you catch another fish and you say, oh, look at this big fish. And you free it, you set it free. This is the criminal justice system in America. You got a bunch of police and police departments bragging about catching a big fish, but they let them right back out. They let them right back out to run their criminal organizations. Now, I'm not wishing jail on nobody, but Young Thug is a perfect example. If you guys weren't a celebrity and you were in the situation Young Thug was in, you'll be locked up. You wouldn't be getting these beautiful deals. But see, when you understand that the prisons are in bed with the music industry, it's all one big money cycle. Go look at Crazy Bones' interview that he did about the music industry. So people that's in the rap game can do some stuff that Al Capone and the mafia guys do and be back out making music, man. But if you do that, man, you will never see the light of day. And it's because they can't let their product sit in jail forever. They just had to give them a reality check. It's like a land grab. And we can go in and take all of these boys' assets, all of their money, and they got to start all over on a financial level. These trials suck them dry. It's a money grab. And this is something that really needs to talk about, that these statistics count arrests versus criminals. Wouldn't you want to know how many criminals are in your area? Don't that versus how many arrests was in this area this year. That's a very vague statistic. Who cares about how many arrests was in my city versus how many people are willing to kill an individual who's innocent in my city? Not a lot, y'all. Very few. Man, listen, the amount of people in your violent city that's willing to blow your brains out versus the average Joe Blow going to work is very few. But if you watch TV and listen to rap music and listen to these police chiefs, they telling you what the rappers are saying, which is, we killing shit, nigga. You go to these hoods, these niggas ain't really even out all the time. These gangbangers got to go to work too, y'all. TV will paint y'all this picture of a bunch of dudes with red rags or blue rags on standing right here every day in a big group. That's fucking funny. Fairy tale. Them niggas got shit to do, bro. They're humans. Gang members don't just get up and sit in this same spot every day unless they selling something. Hello? But these dudes got jobs and family and shit to do. But you let America tell it. At all times of the day, there's just a bunch of killers hanging out in the black community waiting to blow your head off, and it's a big problem. So we got to really break down who Decarlos Brown is, and conversations like this open you up to the mentality of them, because in the black community, there are a lot of mentally ill people, whether it be bipolarism, paranoid schizophrenia. When you got paranoid schizophrenia, what comes with that is bipolarism. Most people that's paranoid and schizophrenia, one of the things, just like if you say this person got a cold, one of the things come with that is coughing up mucus. One of the things that come with paranoid and schizophrenia is a bipolar mentality, to where a person will be lovey-dovey 1 minute, going off the next minute. Part of their mental illness. And when a person got a combination of all this mental illness, it can look like this is a violent black man that's threatening this police life, versus this is a mentally ill dude who should be in a mental institution. How many of y'all are from these communities where you've seen the police unalive black men and you know that the police just killed that crazy man? You know, the crazy man that be throwing rocks at everybody, they just killed him. How many of you can relate to those kind of situations where the police don't care if you mentally ill, but they should? They're there to protect and serve. This is a medical condition. Both can be true. You got black guys that just hate white people. They want to unalive white people, and on top of that, they're mentally ill. My question from a psychological level, which one are they most? I will say they're more mentally ill than racist. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and say racism is a form of mental illness, right? Me hating innocent white babies and just hating a whole group because of what a few of them does, that would make me crazy, man, mentally ill, right? And that's what we don't want to be as we deal with cases such as what we're dealing with here today. And we got a lot to unpack. So we understand about the situation. Decarlos Brown, for no reason at all, unalives this white, I don't want to say white woman, this Ukrainian woman, sorry about that, on the bus. And Donald Trump is publicly calling for the death penalty, urging a swift trial and blaming soft on crime policies in Democratic cities for allowing Brown to remain free. And I 100% agree with Trump on this one. See, what I disagree with is that you think Trump ain't in on it. The Democrats and the conservatives all benefit from the revolving door system and the hip hop industry, people. Make no mistake about it. The whole left versus right thing is to keep you distracted, like the problems we see in America is because one side ain't getting it right. When it's the problems we see in America is that both sides working together secretly to perpetuate the problem so they can come with the solution. Go research the Hegelian dialectic. You'll see what I'm talking about. This case has become a lightning rod in political debates about public safety, mental health care, and criminal justice policy. So yeah, people, I mean, I can read on and on about what happened, but you get it. Ain't much to it. Some crazy black guy. Maybe he's full of hatred. Maybe he's not. But first, we must say he's a crazy man. See, here's my thing. When you say this is black violence, no, I say this is crazy people violence. Crazy people are their own race. You got crazy white people, you got crazy black people. Dylan Roof was one of all white people know Dylan Roof was insane. And that's why he was deemed crazy for unaliving those black people. And I agree with them. That boy was psycho. Was he a racist? Yes. But like I said, there are plenty of racists who ain't crazy. So what we have in America is an epidemic of crazy motherfuckers, man. Cool. It's just crazy. They're trying to make it like it's too many black people. The violence in America, those violent black people, I'm going to be honest, it's simply those violent, crazy motherfuckers. Like Dylan Roof, like Decarlos Brown, and we got them in everybody's race. But why is it an epidemic of crazy motherfuckers? Because America don't have no systems for our mentally ill, I just told you. America don't have no system for our crazy motherfuckers. And when you walking down the street minding your business and some random crazy psycho motherfucker just start shooting or stabbing, you're a victim of America dropping the ball. You ain't a victim of black violence. I'm gonna say that again. You ain't no victim of black violence if a nigga like Decarlos Brown unalive you. Cause I walk past plenty of black people every day. It's just that 1 out of every 100 of every race, you got a crazy motherfucker. That's right. And America is letting your crazy motherfuckers out of jail while locking up your black men who may be good fathers and couldn't pay child support. It's niggas doing more time for child support than Decarlos Brown done his whole criminal career. Because the man got 14 prior arrests, bro. 14 prior arrests, and ain't no news station bringing that up. Ain't no conservative channel bringing that up. You know what everybody doing? Playing the black versus white card. Playing the black versus white card, and that's how I know we going to hell in a handbasket. Let's see what this coon Officer Tatum got to say. And we're going to read all donations before we play the video. Let me give a shout out to the following. Joshua Tellington, thank you, my brother. He said, that was a spy op. He'd been in jail 15 times before and she a Ukrainian refugee. Come on, man. Snitch turn hitman. The phone lines will open up at the end of my review for the community to weigh in on this controversial topic. Let's give a shout out to Duke Wayne, Duke of Memphis. Not only the jail is a revolving door, but pay attention to the medical district. They're experimenting on people for a little change, then let them back to the streets like walking zombies. Now, bro. Oh, my God. We need a whole show on that. We need a whole show on that. The fact that if you're locked up in America, they can force certain medical treatments on you. Damn, like the prison industry is a big time money. You got free medical guinea pigs, free workers. It's just, you don't want to be locked up in America. You rather be locked up in a third world country damn near than America is probably the same conditions.
All right, let's get to the media bashing MAGA for politicizing the stabbing.
And you are mentally ill. You have a hard time knowing that you are mentally ill. But also, I mean, people like Charlie Kirk, they've been looking for opportunities to make this some sort of like reciprocal George Floyd situation.
What I don't understand is that is so messed up to try to make this some sort of race George Floyd type thing. Donald Trump himself said we have to handle lunatics. Trump didn't say we got to handle black crime, black violence, or black people. Now, you got a lot of black conservatives who rock with Trump. They're pushing it on black people, which is so disgusting that the white man y'all look up to, not even pushing this one on black people. He's saying we got a problem with lunatics, and I agree.
And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering. It's wrong.
You dummies. This happened weeks ago. Nobody covered it. Nobody said anything. There was no FOIA request. There was no demand for justice. There was none of that. What are y'all talking about? So the video has been released of the actual stabbing of the young lady on the train, uncensored. We have that video, but we have blurred out the video because out of just the sheer respect for the violence that happened to this young lady. But I think people did not see what actually happened because it freezes like this. So we have the video. Viewer discretion is advised. If you got a weak stomach or you don't want to see the video, then just skip past this point. We'll create a chapter so you can just skip the video if you don't want to see it. But if you want to see it, we'll show it to you. The reason that I want to show it to you is because I want you to see the totality of what happened. I want you to see what happened to the young lady, how quick it happened, and you know the subsequent actions after it happened, meaning that nobody even looked in her direction to help her. And there's reasons why. Let's keep it real. Do you want to be like Daniel Penny? And I think it happened so fast, as you'll see in the video, that I don't think people knew she got stabbed. I think people just thought he hit her a couple times and walked away. So without further ado, roll the clip.
You can see him pulling a knife out right here. I'm going to play this at regular speed. And we should be good as far as playing it because the Officer Tatum editors did the great job of blurring everything. So if I don't get monetized for playing this, this will really expose YouTube's double standard. Now, a lot of people are gonna always say it's fake, it's a psyop, and all that. I don't really think those are beneficial conversations, but I will allow people to call in and say that, but I will give you less time because your opinion really ain't gonna help us as Americans by you just saying it's fake. Because whether it's fake or real, one thing is real, the reaction. One thing you ain't gonna be able to stop is that every American, the majority of the people, gonna say this is real, and they're gonna be steered by the left and right, pushing the division. And you ain't helping unify the people by just saying it's fake and walking your bougie ass away. Who cares if it's fake or not? The division in this country is real. The black versus white that they're pushing is real. And if all you can do is look at this and say it's fake, then by all means call in and say that, but please don't hog up the lines. Ain't much you can say after you say that, okay? So let's deal with it. They not gonna terminate my channel because this is all on the news. Everybody's sharing it. And look, I'm on a YouTube channel. You ever pay attention to that? You ever pay attention that I'm on a YouTube channel that ain't terminated? The video been out 16 hours, meaning that it already passed all of the checks.
So as you can see, nobody even helped her. The guy just did this for no reason. But the lunatics on social media, the CNNs and the Van Joneses of the world, like how do you not look at that? And I'm gonna play a bunch of clips of it, of this other stuff. How do you not look at this and say there is an issue with black violence, right? I mean, can we?
And that's what I'm saying about this guy. Because I'm gonna tell you something, right? There's an issue with the revolving door, and Trump was spot on. By this guy being a Trump supporter, it's amazing that he's so much of a he hates himself so much. It's amazing that he's so much of a bootlicker. He can't even see this ain't a good time to pull the black violence card. This is a good time to pull the fact that there are mentally ill people in America. If you're not gonna pull up the fact that the brother had 14 prior arrests and you're gonna hop right to black crime, because I'm gonna tell you something, right? The black crime, the black violence problem in America is black people killing black people. The average white person isn't threatened by black violence. But the average white person is threatened by crazy motherfuckers. We all got to watch our back for people that's schizophrenic, people that's paranoid. See, here's what Brandon Tatum not gonna mention. That all black people ain't paranoid and schizophrenic, which why all of us ain't doing that. So it can't be an issue of color. It must be a mental issue that America is sweeping under the rug by making it a black issue. Not only is it wrong for black people, but it's a disservice to all Americans, because if you're a white person, if you're an innocent white person like this beautiful Ukrainian woman was, your life is more likely to be taken from a crazy motherfucker that ain't been treated, because this country kicking the can on the mentally ill. If you just a person minding your business every day, going to work, your life is more likely to be taken by somebody who should have been on some sort of medications in this country. And America not talking about that. They want to go to the black versus white. because everyone is racist in this country and they want to use every incident to promote their division and racism. But if they really cared about the citizens, they would look at the person who did it. Look at the man who did it. This man, listen, when Dylan Roof shot that church up, as a black man, I didn't say we have a white violence problem in America. I said, you know what? It's some crazy mother freakers in this world. When I see, I don't care what color you are, the Virginia shooters. Guess what I told myself? It's some crazy people in the world. Why are they out on the streets? And this what the system don't want to talk about. You don't want to talk about the fact that Decarlos Brown has a documented history of paranoid schizophrenia. I'm not making this up. It's documented. So instead of bringing that up, Officer Tatum, you want to make it like every black person is violent, and every black person, it's a black violence problem, right? Even though there was several black people on the doggone train and only one black person did the crime, and that's the one that's paranoid and schizophrenic. Come on. You got a whole train full of black people, ain't but one white person. And they're trying to turn it into black people are violent and we hate whites. When the whole train full of black people, and the only black person that do that is the one that shouldn't have been out of jail. Trump know that. Trump says it's a lunatic problem. Yeah, let me translate to you. People who are paranoid and schizophrenic. So Trump know the problem. How are you gonna deal with it? By sending the National Guard into black communities? How? Trump is treating it like black people are violent. Let's go into their communities with the National Guard. When there's a whole train full of black people, it ain't that black people are violent. It's that the law fell in our communities. They ain't doing that to these repeated offenders. And so now they got the National Guard policing my grandmother. We at the brink of martial law where they gonna say, let me see your ID. Curfew is in. You want to parent law-abiding citizens while letting the real threat out of jail. This man got 14 prior arrests, and you think the answer is sending the National Guard into the hood. The answer is you need to quit letting these people out, man. That's right. So that you can keep your statistics looking a certain way. This dude here is a big enemy to black people. He's a real problem.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. There's an issue. Because you can't find many videos of white people cutting up like you see black people.
Yes, you can. You got the Oklahoma City bombing. You got Dylan Roof. I got a whole list right here. Mark Essex, George Zimmerman, James Brunn, Byron Beckwith, Daniel. Listen, dude, you ain't got to do nothing but research it. White folks was lynching black people ever since the 1800s, man. And guess what? The white people that was lynching black people in the Tulsa massacre and the Birmingham church bombing, they weren't insane. They were very intelligent. They knew what they was doing. That was acts of hate and racism. This black dude literally was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and you're trying to make it like black people are full of hatred, we're racist toward whites, and we're violent. When this is a crazy lunatic that's been diagnosed, and you talking about we can't find this in the white community, when, bro, the concept of lynching come from a white family called a Lynch family. It's literally named after them. These people got a history of doing all of this stuff, and they ain't even crazy. That's the crazy part. They led on pure hate. They ain't got no mental issues like Decarlos Brown. And I'm a fair man. I'm telling you, Dylan Roof has mental issues. That is, see, here's the double standard with this coon right here, right? He will agree that Dylan Roof should get an insanity deal, which he did, right? And he would say, well, Dylan Roof wasn't acting out of hate. It wasn't about racism. Dylan Roof had a history of mental illness. And guess what? That coon would be right. I'm not going to be a liar. That coon would be right. Dylan Roof got a documented history of mental illness. So I'm going to be honest and say, even though Dylan Roof is a racist white boy, he's more insane than racist. Because it's a lot of racist white folks that ain't gonna do what he did because they ain't crazy. And this is the conversation America need to be having. But we want to always use stuff for division. This dude is an imposter. And if you play the division game, your channel can grow. Look at all the channels that's growing quicker than me. And look at what they doing, what I'm not doing. They gotta suppress the truth to promote the division, the race war, the martial law, and the pick a side when it's both sides working together against all colors in America. That's the psychological operation. So this guy right here agreed that Dylan Roof is insane because he have a documented history of mental illness. But he ain't gonna do the same thing for Decarlos, even though Decarlos got a documented history of mental illness. All of the black coons and the white racists, they're not gonna bring that up, y'all. And any platform that brings this up is gonna be silenced and censored. They don't want to make this a mental illness conversation. They want to make it a black violence conversation. When again, that the train was full of black people, and the only black person that was violent was the mentally ill one, just like Dylan Roof. You know how many white people that hate blacks that walk by that church every day? And the only white boy decided to go unalive those black people in that church was the crazy one. America got a mental illness problem that it don't want to talk about, y'all, because it want to promote all of this as division. And the truth is, the average sane black person, average sane white person is good people living in these communities amongst mentally ill, bipolar, disturbed individuals, because PTSD is a form of mentally illness. All of these gang members are mentally ill and don't nobody want to admit it. They would fight you. If I walk up to all of them gang members and say, bro, your mind messed up, you mentally ill. What you saying, homie? Oh, you trying to call me crazy? Bro, you are. Bro, your mind is fucked. And it ain't funny. A lot of y'all niggas growing up in these communities, your mind is just like a war veteran. But can't nobody call you crazy though, because they're gonna have problems, right? Nobody want the crazy stamp, because you get limited in society when people know, you know, he been diagnosed with schizophrenia and PTSD, he taking medicine. Nobody want that. So in America, you got a lot of untreated mental illnesses that's like ticking time bombs all around you. And it ain't the average day-to-day working person. It's a few people, it's always a few mentally ill citizens in every society. The problem is, what do the government do to the mentally ill? It's not a criminal problem in America. more of it is a mental illness issue. Because think about it. The average person growing up in the hood have thought of so many crimes. They probably have thought about robbing so many banks, especially when they watch Set It Off. They probably have thought of all kind of criminal shit in their head, but they didn't. And they went and got a little job and took their ass to work every day. But they can't lie like they never thought about it. What makes a person mentally ill is a person that can literally carry out these sort of fantastical thoughts that the rest of us would say, nah, that was a crazy thought. Yeah, I thought about robbing a bank. Okay, quit daydreaming. Let me go punch the time clock. That's a sane person. You're not mentally ill, right? That's the difference. It ain't that you never thought about it. It's that you never entertained a thought when it popped up in your head. You laughed it off, right? Something like that. The average white person that hate blacks are thinking in their mind, boy, I would like to run up in that church and just shoot up all of those N-words. But they ain't crazy like Dylan Roof. So in the case of Dylan Roof, I would have to say, that's a crazy motherfucker. I'm not even looking at the skin color. He's crazy. And if you look at the video that we just watched, you can't put that on black people. What we just witnessed on that train was a mentally disturbed, a crazy mother. Come on, bro. Even the black people that saw it was disturbed, like, whoa, what the hell? This dude's crazy. That's not a normal, typical black behavior. This is not a black violence problem.
Not that black people are the only ones, but show me a video of a white man doing a black woman like this. Okay, that's what I.
You see stupid stuff like that, right? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You want videos of a white man stabbing a black woman. You're so polarized, you see a black man stabbing a white woman, and the only other scenario you want to see is a white man stabbing a black woman, because you're so polarized you can't even think logically. And the logical thing would say, show me an incident where white men endangered the public safety of regular innocent Americans. This guy is so full of division, hate, and such a race baiter that and it's so disgusting because this is a tragedy and we're dropping the ball on it. This is a conversation about Americans' safety in public transit, because this is a problem that's happening in the New York subways. It's not a black problem. It's a safety problem. And you're not gonna solve the problem sending the National Guard to the ghetto, because there are crazy lunatics on the bus with you. There are crazy, disturbed individuals on the subway with you of all colors, and America ignoring that while trying to make it like this is black violence. We're ignoring the fact that America got a lot of sleeper cells in the form of schizophrenic, mentally disturbed people that's just waiting to be the next psychological operation to push the division further. They don't want them people out of society. They need those out there, because without these mentally ill people, you won't have these big stories every other month to keep Americans scared so we can buy into more policing, more authority over regular people, versus singling out the real problem, which is America has mentally ill people, and it ain't a lot of them. Every American ain't mentally ill, but it's enough of them that no one's doing anything about that can harm you. A person that's diagnosed with these mental illnesses and they got these long history of prior violent arrests, that's a harm to all of us. How are you protecting and serving me? by letting a person like that walk free while letting a young black man who was selling a bag of weed sit and rot.
So let's listen to Van Jones on CNN make himself look like a complete fool. Roll the clip.
Unfortunately, we don't have services that they used to have for mentally ill people in terms of dealing with them. And I think the problem here is, I'm guessing the Trump administration was looking for an example. This video was quite disturbing. You have the combination of social media at the same time blowing it up, and so it creates sort of the perfect storm to point to something. Just like when Dukakis, when he was running for president, Lee Otler took advantage of that one incident that was terrible, that was very troubling for voters once they called attention to it.
So certain people have been looking for an opportunity to find a case like this, to make a point like this. I want to play, this is Charlie Kirk, why he says this hasn't gotten a lot of attention.
A white Ukrainian refugee was murdered just because she was white. Everybody knows that, obviously. If a random...
She was murdered because she was not protected by the American criminal justice system. That's right. She was murdered because this American criminal justice system allowed people with documented histories of paranoid and schizophrenia who have 14 prior arrests to still be walking around in our society. You see, she was murdered just because she was white. So why no other black person on the train did the murdering? Why was it the black person with the history of paranoid schizophrenia?
White person simply walked up to and stabbed a nice law-abiding black person for no reason, it would be an apocalyptically huge national story used to impose national sweeping political changes on the whole country. Instead, Megan Basham, no one seems to care when a white woman gets stabbed to the death.
Wow. He said white a lot.
Well, we are talking about it here, so I guess
True.
I don't
See, it ain't that nobody don't care when a white woman get unalived for no reason. What the issue is, no one don't care that our criminal justice system is a revolving door game and a scam and a scheme, right? And that it is taking our tax dollars and ain't doing nothing to the mentally ill. See, this what y'all don't know, because a lot of y'all are so slow, you've been dumbed down. People will say, but Sanchez, it ain't their job to take care of the mentally ill. Let me explain something to you, right? It's the police job to protect and serve. Even since the days of Rome, the most mentally ill people in your society are the ones that the regular people needed to be protected from the most. Not because they're evil or full of hate, but because they're not even in their right mind. And not only are they a danger to others, they are even a danger to themselves. There needs to be a separation between sane people and insane people. That responsibility is part of the law enforcement because it is their responsibility to protect me. What if I told you that the average innocent America is more likely to die from some mentally ill person who have a bunch of big arrest record and they keep getting let out? They mentally ill, right? You on your way to work, a gang member ain't just going up killing innocent people. You can't turn this to a black violence thing, because when it comes to black violence, most of that is gang violence, drug dealing, and black people harming other black people. When you talk about a person that just goes out there and kill a complete stranger, that's a threat to every American, including black people, which is why the black people on the train was getting away from the black man. Like, what the hell? If everybody was in on this and it was a black violent thing, we would have been chilling like, oh, we ain't white. Chill out. He ain't gonna stab you. He's only stabbing her because she white, man. You ain't got to worry about nothing. Chill out. He ain't gonna stick you. Everybody on the train was like, oh shit, because they knew as black people, he ain't stabbing her because she white. He's stabbing her because this nigga crazy than a motherfucker. And he's got a documented history and a medical diagnosis. It ain't that I'm making it up, giving him an excuse. I'm saying the same for Dylan Roof. He's crazy. So we're really dropping the ball on such a tragic situation that could really be a learning moment. But after all, we do live in evil as Babylon as America, and the Bible prophesied that this no good ass country going to hell in a handbasket. I can't believe I served in the military in this piece of shit of a country.
I don't think that's fair. Look, being in the system, because I have represented people who are mentally ill, and here's the balance. The balance is taking away people's freedom versus evaluating their mental illness. And New York City, there are a lot of programs for people who are mentally ill, but they have to want to be there.
Yeah, and it's
about
difficult.
Hold on a second. I tried not to interject, but I had to. Real quick. It won't take long. Charlie Kirk is 1,000% right. If you dummies, this happened weeks ago. Nobody covered it. A woman stabbed to death on a train happened weeks ago. Nobody said anything. There was no FOIA request. There was no demand for justice. There was none of that. What are y'all talking about? Listen, y'all, the system isn't broken. It's rigged. And if you're buried in debt, that's exactly how.
If the system rigged, why do you still push voting and all that? Like this dude be double talking too. If you like, nobody, people don't think. People talking about it's a race related thing. You want to black and white this tragedy, right? Talking about that the news coverage was slow. Bro, there's a lot of black victims, right? That have been unalived by white people, police, and the story don't get viral until next week or something like that. So there are a couple of cases where, for example, Breonna Taylor, right? The Breonna Taylor story didn't get no coverage like that until 60 days afterwards. You know, the famous Breonna Taylor shooting, you know, it was barely getting covered. It sure wasn't nationally covered. But 3 months after the fact, sometime it take a time for it to blow up. So, but when you trying to make everything a race-related issue, you look for these kind of arguing points to make stuff black and white, when really, I gotta be honest, it's just the nature of the media, man. Like, the more something happens in America, the longer it takes it to get national attention because people get used to it. So, whenever there's a new police killing a black man, it may take this story longer and longer to actually break, because the big news media outlets, I mean, things that are now becoming a regular pattern in news coverage, they look for a new situation to push, like new stories or whatever. It'll get old and run down if you. So my whole thing though is like, I don't think we got all have our theories. I'm trying to formulate my theories on why the coverage be slow on a lot of these. But I will say it's on both sides, so we can't use it for a talking point, or arguing point, because it happens in both cases. In black victims or white victims, right?
Y'all talking about this weeks later after the video goes viral. You weren't covering it. Daniel Penny tried to prevent a nut from.
And I'm going to tell y'all something else that happened. Because there's so many of these cases happening in America, you will have one big case going on that is still viral. And next thing you know, that's like, right, I forgot one of these police shootings. I can't think of it, but I want to say the chick with the boiling water. But when she was unalive, there was actually another black guy that was killed by the police like 2 weeks after that. But he didn't get no coverage because her story got so big. That happens all the time. Because this stuff is becoming more common, these stories are overlapping. And when the news make one story viral, you forget another dude just got shot 2 weeks ago and ain't no one talking about him. Because this the big story. That happens a lot. As a content creator, I know that happens a lot because I stopped trying to keep up with them all at some point.
From doing this, and y'all covered it wall to wall. Tried to put the boy in prison for life. Play the clip.
You are mentally ill. You have a hard time knowing that you are mentally ill. But also, I mean, people like Charlie Kirk, Van, they've been looking for opportunities to make this some sort of like reciprocal.
Well, I gotta disagree with her. She's wrong about that. I don't think these people got a hard time knowing they mentally ill. They got a hard time accepting it. They got a hard time looking in the mirror and telling themselves, I need help mentally. It's the most embarrassing thing when you gotta admit my mind ain't right. Just gotta keep it real, man.
George Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think he's almost giving away the game.
But then again, I gotta say she ain't all the way wrong because mental illness is so regular and untreated in the hood that a lot of people just think they normal. That's the sad part. Now, she's right from that angle, and that's a sad fact that mental illness is the norm in a lot of communities. You know, like among the teenagers and youth, they get to them quick, man, with the bullshit. Now, most adults just going to work trying to get by, most mature people, like I was saying earlier. But the mental illness is a specific group, the young people and the disturbed people. Like in the Bible, that dude with the demons in him, they had to cast them into the swine. It's a story, but the man was violent. He was a threat to society. They cured his mental illness. They didn't lock him up, which is what I like about the stories of Christ. It showed you how to prevent this stuff and create a utopia like we once had. We cared about the mentally disturbed. And yes, we had healers that can take away a mentally, that's what you can treat the mind, y'all. It ain't the end of the world. PTSD, all of these mental illnesses can be cured just like a common cold, and they can be a regular person back in society. But there are no systems for that in America, because the truth is that America ain't really, people are gonna crucify me this. We don't have a violence problem when it comes to the average American being a threat to society. I don't believe that. I think there's a small society of violent people in the form of like gang members, criminal organizations, and then mentally ill. Again, we're more safer in gang environments than if you put us in a room full of schizophrenic, paranoid people with lethal weapons. Because the gang members live among us in most cases, and most of the time the innocent people die because them niggas don't know how to shoot. And I know you gang members gonna get mad, but I'm gonna tell the truth. Most of the black violence in the community is because dumbass gang members trying to kill each other, and they don't care who in the way, who outside, and the niggas don't go and practice aiming at all. If I interviewed a gang member right now, ask them, do you go to the gun range? They gonna say nope. And you can tell by the way they hold their guns. They don't have professional military gun training, but they got the most dangerous weapons and assault rifles. And you can get a gun without being trained on it, long as you old enough. but you gotta literally take a driving test to get a car. That's America, folks. Because you got to show that you can put your bullet on target. But if I ran America, yeah, you legal, but can you shoot? Afflicted motherfuckers ain't get no gun in my country, man. You got the right to protect yourself, but you need to know how to aim. Because when you into it with your enemy and other people outside, in most cases, how do you think that the police are able to get into shootouts, but they rarely hit innocent people? The military too. The military can send in a team into the terrorist area and they can literally shoot it out and shoot those people and endanger very minimal civilians, if any. That's training, folks. See, the thing about innocent people being jeopardized because of black violence is oftentimes a little girl got shot because it was a drive-by. Innocent man on his way to work in the middle of a gang shooting. A mistaken identity. They thought the young man was in the wrong gang and he got shot, but he was a college student. All of the cases in the hood where black violence is a factor is against black people. So white people, why are you even bringing up black violence when it's against your people? See, because the thing about it is this, gang members, they ain't mentally ill like Decarlos Brown and Dylan Roof. They driven by greed, sex, drugs, vengeance, because you killed my homie. And that will make you crazy. It'll make you say, bro, I don't care if I live or die. I won't smoke with the ops. I'm going to keep getting money. I'm going to keep getting women. They are victims of just an overindulgence of capitalism, greed, and criminal mindset and a certain lifestyle. And that right there really benefits white culture because they actually make a lot of money from rap music, prisons. Like the most economic thing to white people is gang and violent culture. It's just one big American cash cow. It's like $1 trillion a year industry. So they not concerned with black violence. Trump said we got to handle the lunatics, not the black people. I can't believe you got black people that's cooning more than Trump. This might be a first.
Been looking for opportunities to make this some sort of like reciprocal George Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think he's almost giving away the game. And it's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
You know, let me just say a couple of things. One is, I mean, what happened to that young woman was horrible. And it's everybody's nightmare. If you're in any public space, a subway, whatever, that something bad is going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord. We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just pure race mongering, hate mongering, it's wrong. Then he says that if something like that had happened the other way, there would be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act? It didn't pass.
Brandon Tatum about to contradict himself and show why he's a big hypocrite in a few seconds coming up.
Even when you had a white police officer murder a black man on live television, the whole world saw, there were no sweeping changes. In fact, not one law was passed at the federal level. So I think that's an important thing to point out. The other thing is, you mentioned the thing about cashless bail. I think this is a big challenge that we have. Would you have felt better if there had been cash bail and the mom had come and put down $1,000 to let him out? It's not about cashless bail or no cashless bail. It's about the fact that we don't know how to deal with people who are hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people, hurt people. What happened was...
And what he's saying is mentally ill people are hurting. The Bible say you're suffering from demons. Now, Brandon Tatum got all of these Bible scriptures and he act like he's such a biblical person. But the kind of Christianity he practiced is literally the Crusaders' Christianity.
It's horrible, but it becomes an opportunity for people to jump on bandwagons. And then for someone like Charlie Kirk, he should be ashamed of himself. No one mentioned the word race, white, black, or anything except him. What people mention is the horror of what happened to this young woman.
Banjo.
Uh-oh, here come this coon about to contradict. Here come a contradiction, y'all. See, when a coon contradicts itself, it's called a contradiction. Listen to this big contradiction, y'all.
Oh, shut the. I want to just cuss. I want to cuss. How stupid and disingenuous is this conversation? Charlie Kirk brought up race. George Floyd got killed by a police officer, and immediately it was because he was black. What do you think? Where did they see that this happened because the man was black?
Now, that's what I'm talking about, right? When George Floyd was unalive, black folks was saying it's because he's a black man. Tatum was saying it ain't because he's black. It ain't got nothing to do with color. You can't prove that the officers were racist and that is race related. But yet he's saying you can prove that this was race related even though the murderer have a history of mental illness. This dude's a damn coon. That's right. He's a coon. You see the hypocrisy? He's saying we can now say that this man stabbed the white woman because he full of hate and his racism. That's what he's saying. But he's saying the reason we can say that is because when George Floyd was unalive, y'all said it was because he was black. But when we were saying that, y'all was saying we was wrong. Y'all was saying we was wrong. So that shows you their hypocrisy. If you thought we was wrong about George Floyd, why don't you see you wrong about this one? It's the same logic, sir. So if you saying you right about this white Ukrainian woman, then we was right about George Floyd. But see, this is what happens when you only look at these stories to push aside and get caught up in the division. You will be very biased. Because if you're going to say George Floyd was unalive and it had nothing to do with race because we can't prove that, you got to do that here too. Especially when we know that this man is a mentally ill guy. This entire video, Brandon Tatum never brought up that the man was mentally ill. He do research. Why no one bringing up that this a crazy ass man? But when Dylan Roof went up in that church, they brought that up the first. They brought that up the first day. They didn't hesitate. You want to talk about the biasness of media? Huh? And you talking about how long it take them to cover something. Let's talk about that. When all of these cases happen with black folks who are mentally ill, they never bring that up. But every time it's a white crazy dude, they say he crazy. They bring that up first. This man got a documented history of medical mental illnesses. You can look it up. And no one bringing it up. I can pull it up, but they ain't pulling it up. So everyone ought to know, like, this dude and the people that rock with him just they what's wrong with America.
I want to just cuss.
Because my thing is this right here, right? Your whole beef is black folks can't prove that the white officer who unalived George Zimmerman was racist. You just saying that. What about you in this case? You saying that this white lady was killed just because she was white. You got to make your logic happen all the time, not just with white folks. That's why he get called a coon. If you think a certain way and that's your logic, it have to apply in all scenarios. In no scenario can a person see these kind of crimes and just talk and say, well, he hate her because she white. By your logic. But when it comes to black people, no one uses logic. Everyone play dumb and get illogical because there's an agenda to target your group. And they got people like this to help with that agenda. All these black conservatives that's taking that red pill, selling they soul, they promoting this agenda in some way, some form. They may not be as harsh as Brandon, but they all are puppets for manifest destiny and a targeting of a certain group. It ain't right, because we should be targeting the mentally ill and not to punish them, but to treat them. And I swear a lot of this violence will go down in America because in 8 times out of 10 out of all of these random events like this, it's a crazy person, y'all. Just like the dude in Miami that was just going around eating people. Just like the dude in Miami. He was literally cannibalizing, eating people. They had to put him down. The police had to put him down. You know, we just had a Vegas shooting, right? 2 Vegas shooting. You had the YouTuber, that one, the black guy. That was a white guy killing a black guy and his wife. You had, what can I say? That's just because they black. Okay, you had a gym shooting in Vegas, in the gym. A white shooter went up in there in the gym. The police had to kill him. I'm telling y'all, in a lot of these cases, these people are mentally ill. The dude that shot that black couple on the strip is deeper than YouTube beefing. The brother got some serious mental illness problems. Because, dude, I see a lot of people on YouTube beefing. But everybody don't want to pull up and kill you because we argued about something online. To me, at some point, we have to deem people with a certain level of rage as mentally ill. They was even doing that in ancient times, in the Roman days. Over extremely anger is a form of mentally illness. But they push this kind of stuff in music and all that. They want you over aggressive, men. Every black man, even the conservatives, and it's like all of these black conservatives will try to take the white man's argument and be like, yeah, it's a black violence problem, right? But guess what, though? These same black conservatives, they act just like the niggas that they criticize. When they be online getting mad at each other, they be talking about pulling up and shooting each other, fighting each other. And I'm like, man, one minute y'all with the white man saying how black people are violent. Next minute y'all being a violent nigga just like you condemning. Damn, that's crazy. You know, Charleston White go through that too. Yeah. He try to make it like niggas is loud, ratchet, violent. And look at him. Wow. It's amazing where we at in America, where the token Negroes that they give the money to make the rest of us look ratchet are everything that they try to condemn. Let me see if I can find this video real quick. I got to show y'all something. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this thing. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Where's this video? I don't know if I'm on the right. Let me see something. I'm trying to find something. I just thought about this. Okay, here it is.
But anyways, here we go with good old Officer Fake 'em, Officer Hate 'em, especially if they're black. Here we go with him breaking character. So he's among the blacks. Maybe he feels comfortable.
Check this out, y'all.
Man, we just have a difference of opinion. Why is my opinion based on my?
Wait, that's interesting. He said we merely have a difference of opinion because just earlier we heard him state that those who disagree with him are mentally ill. So now it's changed. So it's just difference of opinion when you're discussing. Okay, fascinating.
Training experience somehow bad, but your opinion is fine. We both have opinions. At the court of law, they're determined who's right or wrong.
Brendan, let me be very clear on here. I support your right to have your opinion, right? But I also am going to bring the counterpoints as well to the points that you're presenting. The problem I think a lot of people are having is that when these cases, you admitted it yourself, Brendan, right? Doing it.
Let me see if I can get to the
trying to be nice
to the good part.
You heard me? Like, come on, man. But anyways, back to Officer Hate them, especially if they're black.
Why are we always
they are.
They.
It doesn't matter if they're.
Oh, I want you to notice that. I want you to notice that they're talking about blacks, and he didn't say we are. He didn't say black people are. He said they are, which is distancing language, distancing himself.
Facts.
Passion. He has such a strong passion when he's bashing the black people, so passionate about it.
Because it is irrelevant. It is ironic. It is ironic. No, it's not. It's ironic that all of these cases that we see, people are involved in criminal activity. It's never, he said it's never a case.
Now, the interesting thing is that he's wearing a Donald Trump shirt while having this conversation. And that's a part of the grift. You see, they find that they can attach to the MAGA movement and it's profitable because MAGA needs certain demographics. You know, they need the token Latino, the token black. And, you know, hey, if you're making money at it and you truly believe, have at it. But the problem is that they don't truly believe because they don't understand themselves. They don't believe. But they are getting paid, and, you know, I can't entirely hate that. I don't respect it because, you know, as a man, we should live on principles. And not only should we live by them, we should die by them. And I'll die according to mine. Officer Tatum is a pretty word. I don't usually hear you say that when you're.
They created the crime bill.
What you said. I'm done, bro. You a fake nigga. I hope everybody see that.
I appreciate it.
Fake, bro. I'm gonna expose you to everybody. When I see you, we gonna be. It's on. It's gonna be on. I want you to know that because you call me on the phone and you saying all this, and then you get on the live stream and you playing this shit. You a shit.
Whoa, Officer Tatum. That is not very white of you, Officer Tatum. No, Officer Tatum, this is not right. I need to have a phone call. Eat your ass. Predictable. He's really.
Everybody on your live stream knows you're a black crime.
Black crime.
I'm scared.
And you
whoa. This. Not you, act.
So Officer Tatum Officer Tatum is on his channel making everything a black violence problem. Meanwhile, he's just another nigga who's violent. If y'all can't see clean through this man, it's disgusting. You are literally giving white people the green light to target your people for being violent, and you the fucking kettle calling the pot black. You literally are the black face of all of the white supremacist talking points when they're gonna do the same thing to you. That, like, these niggas that's at the top of the conservative ladder, your Charleston Whites, your Tatums, all of these dudes, Kanye West was threatening black men. Kanye West had his little rants where he was talking tough, shitting on niggas' grave, dissing the dead, yeah. While sucking off the white man. All these niggas do that. Brandon Tatum, it lets you know that they're not serious about the message. They the black face of a white message, and they not even living a message. It's not a message they're genuinely passionate about because they want to see black people do better. It's a message they getting paid for and they motivated by money. because they just another violent nigga they self. That's how you know they ain't practicing what they preach. They everything that they spend, his whole life is about checking black people for their violence. But he won't look in the mirror first. That lets you know the man don't really care. That's like a crackhead getting paid to talk about stopping drugs. You the face of this movement for the money, but you ain't living it. And you everything you speaking against, crackhead. Look at this man. And he can go on his channel and put on the Brandon Tatum mask, and it's just a fucking front and a character. And this man get off of here being a black violent nigga and go on his channel with his gray poupon and his racist white folks and talk about black violent niggas. Same thing with Charleston White.
In black, like the criminals, the violent criminals.
And you saying all this, and then you get on the live stream and you
Whoa,
this.
calm down.
You should be ashamed of
I'm
yourself.
scared.
Is that black? Is that black on black crime? Is that black on black crime?
Whoa, whoa.
Everybody on your live stream know you's a
Just full of anger and rage. This the kind of dude, soon as you disagree with him or turn up with him, he gonna punch you or get violent with you. Now this nigga would get out of jail because he got all the racist white folks who in the legal system on his side. This man interviewed he interviewed Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel. Brandon Tatum know Netanyahu, like they like that. So Brandon Tatum has met Trump. I wouldn't be surprised if this nigga can call up Trump and Netanyahu. And whenever you got a black man that's this close and connected to the white man who hates you, that nigga's compromised. Especially when he's talking like all of the racist talking points, when he's everything he condemning. What the white people around him know is that he just another nigga too. But the reason they making him rich and powerful, right, it's because he's willing to go against his own people and promote the agenda to target them. Even though if he's guilty of the same thing they doing. Such a traitorous act is so crazy.
And when I see you, I'm whooping your ass.
Whoa!
Everybody got your
Whoa! Oh my God, I'm calling.
Look at this violent black man, and he'll go on his channel talking about this is ball. You know there's a problem with black violence, and you the main one, nigga. If there's a problem with black violence, you need to be the first nigga in line, dog. So let's please stop making it about skin color, please.
That's right.
A fraud and it's just a devil. This man reaps with satanic energy, with all them Bible scriptures written on him. It's sad. And it's so many niggas with his whole that and sold out to this same, cabal.
I want to cuss. How stupid and disingenuous is this conversation? Charlie Kirk brought up race. George Floyd got killed by a police officer, and immediately it was because he was black. What do you think? Where did they see that this happened because the man was black?
So where did you see that this happened because the woman was white? We got to be able to use this logic on all sides. We got to. You can't say, well, y'all said that the white officer killed George Floyd, did it because he was black. So now we doing it to you. He killed her because she white. That's dishonest, bro. Guess what you gotta say? You gotta say, listen, guys, neither one of these has anything to do with race. That's what Brandon Tatum should say. Brandon Tatum should say, listen, black people, y'all was wrong about George Floyd. That had nothing to do with race, and we couldn't prove that. And guess what Brandon Tatum ought to be saying right now? We can't prove that this has anything to do with race, people. We have to always remember you just talking. You can't prove that, and it's divisive. You being divisive, this a tragic moment. That's what he said with George Floyd. But now you want to, it don't matter if it's a tragic moment. We can be divisive now, huh? When it's a white woman. If it's a tragic moment, it's a tragic moment, man. We shouldn't be taking advantage of no one death to push no division, right? That's right. No matter what the skin color or scenario is, it's a tragic moment. We ain't got no proof that it got anything to do with race. In fact, we got proof that the brother that did it was mentally ill. Them police that put their knee on George Floyd wasn't mentally ill. They was trained to protect and serve us.
What's his name? Was nice to George Floyd. He put him in the back of the car. He was treating him with dignity and respect. Then it went south. So,
let me tell you something about these killers. They always feed you first and kill you later, nigga. Like, come on, bro. These folks will say, hey, man, you know, they'll give you all the respect. Next thing you know, a knee on your damn neck and you can't breathe. You think I care that you treated me nice before you killed me, man?
Stupid.
He treated him nice before he choked his ass out. You a real fool, dog.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Who brings up that shit? A person just murdered me. They're in jail for it. And your coon ass bring up, he treated him nice though.
Stupid.
I don't understand how this man ain't counseled. You know how many women was treated nice before the dude did what he did to him? Like, bro, that's just evil. Like, but he treated him nice before he choked his ass out. Like, bro, that's horrible to say. That's fucking horrible. Only a radical coon will say some shit like that.
What's his name? Was nice to George Floyd. He put him in the back of the car. He was treating him with dignity and respect. Then it went south.
That's crazy.
But we jumped to the conclusion that George Floyd lost his life only because he was black and the cop was white, with no evidence or information pertaining to that whatsoever.
Okay, so by your same logic, why are you jumping to them same conclusions in this case? Hypocrite, man.
But you get a black man, why he didn't stab somebody else? A white woman, and he stabbed.
You know why, bro? Because she was directly in front of him. Think about this, right? I'm gonna answer that question now. This is a law officer acting dumb as hell. You got a schizophrenic, paranoid dude on a subway with a knife. There's a human body right in front of him that ain't paying him no attention. Everybody else on the train is either to the side of him, in front of him, or behind him. The only person on that train that's in a position that he can do this to them and they won't even know it is the white woman that's right in front of him. Because look, if he try to stab the dude on the side of him, it's gonna be a tussle. He got 2 seconds to get up out his chair, go over there, raise his hand, and if he gotta stab the people behind him, he got to literally turn his body around after he get up and walk back there looking at them. They gonna see him. Soon as he stand up, they gonna look at him. Bro, you got 4-5 seconds to walk toward him. You giving them much time to prepare, and you reach with a knife out? The only person on this bus in a vulnerable position from a crazy man, unfortunately, is this white woman. I believe if a black woman was sitting there, she would have faced the same fate. You're right in front of him. He's a crazy motherfucker for all he's saying this bitch just blocked my view. Ain't no telling. All we know, she's in a position where she just a sitting duck for a crazy man because her back is directly turned to him. Now, if I'm gonna attack somebody and I don't want them to see it to after the fact, I'm gonna do it to this lady right here out of everybody on the bus or the train. It's common sense. Even he know that anybody else I may have to wrestle with because I got to walk over there. This person in the gray right on the side of him. He would be a good victim of it, but still the position you're on the side of me, your peripheral gonna kick in the moment you stand up and start, leaning over me with your hand up, and that 1 second, this person can throw their hand up, and what'll happen is they'll get stabbed in the hand. That happens a lot. Brandon Tatum is a law enforcement officer, and it's like he's what's wrong with America, because you got a lot of police officers that know the truth, but they act stupid when they want to play the race game. He should be saying what I'm saying. He should have an investigative mindset. He shouldn't ask dumb questions like, why was it just her? Oh, that's an easy one. Look at where she at. She's a sitting duck. That's an easy one. If that was a black woman right there, she would have faced the same fate. Right? So, anybody else, they probably wouldn't have died, but they would have sure had a lot of nasty stab wounds in their arms and hand. Because in these kind of situations, if there's a tussle, when you have a little blade like that, most people can survive this, right? But your hands and all that gonna be kind of mutilated. It's horrific, because the natural human defense, you gonna let them stab up your arms and stuff, and in a lot of cases, you can bleed out from your arms too. But you got a better chance to live if you wrap that hand up at the wrist and all that. You can definitely make it versus in the torso area. So a lot of victims that had to fight off knives, like if you do jail time, a lot of guys, they show you their arms and hands. They've been in a knife fight when they was locked up, but they here living, right? Because the first thing we give up is our hands. And you'll see that in a lot of murder cases, that when there's a gruesome stabbing, where they were stabbed repeated amount of times, the first stabs will be in the hand area because you're going to defend yourself. So anybody that know about violence, which this dude got a big history of it, they're going to know these type of nuances that I just pointed out. Now, Tatum should know this because he's a law officer. He should know this. These sort of criminal type behaviors when it comes to lethal force, studying prisoners, studying violent attacks, studying criminal profiles, you will see it ain't just about them being black, because in prison, you got a lot of different races of killers, right? It's just that a lot of these killers, like in the Aryan Brotherhood, you have these rapists or serial killers or repeated violent offenders. Ain't no such thing as repeated offenders in these beautiful white communities, and I know what I'm talking about. When you in these pretty beautiful white communities, you don't see crazy motherfuckers like when you go to the hood. Listen, when you in these built up upscale white communities, you do not see an epidemic of mental ill people walking around that's a threat to society, because they getting your ass off the street. If you in Mountain Brook acting crazy, if you even swinging your t-shirt at one of them white ladies, man, Mountain Brook police locking your ass up for life, nigga. He was swinging a t-shirt. That's a deadly weapon. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, y'all know, go through your prissy white neighborhood. Why don't you see the crazy man on the corner? The nigga talking to himself. They have places to put them in those neighborhoods. See, unfortunately, only the rich people get the luxury of these systems in America, but all taxpayers pay into it. But in these poor-ass cities, there's so much criminal activity in high levels that I'm telling you, the criminal justice system itself is a big scheme at this point.
Stabs her in the neck. If you can draw the conclusion that the black men are getting killed because they black, you can draw the conclusion that she got killed because she white. Why?
No, if you can draw the conclusion that George Floyd incident wasn't race related, then you can draw the conclusion that Decarlos Brown incident ain't race related. See how that worked? Same logic, right? I expect the person that said George Floyd incident was race related to say this one was race related. If you're a black race baiter and you saying they killed George Floyd because he was black, then I expect you to probably say, yeah, he killed her because she was white, but look at how many people of ours they killed. You probably take that approach, right? Because you going to see polarizing anyway. You already a polarizing individual. But in a lot of cases, most of them, you'll see the bias of, well, George Floyd was an act of racism, but this ain't racism. And I agree. You can't really make this comparison. Those police officers were trained not to do the knee on neck maneuver. It's outdated. It haven't been used in over a decade. You're an officer and you know that. Brandon Tatum ain't never put his knee on a nigga neck. Ain't no police in America ever put their knee on a nigga neck. George Floyd case was the first and last. The technique with the knee on the neck is a legal technique in some police departments, but guess what? It's so rarely used, you hardly ever see it. They more likely to put the knee on your back. So all of the officers that defended the knee on the neck, they never used it themselves, and they know it's against most police departments' policy today. But being a police is being in a fraternity. You gotta have each other back, even when you're wrong. They just another gang. And this nigga joined a different gang than Blood or Crip. He hate his own people. And he just another violent nigga like y'all, but he just joined a different white supremacist group. He didn't join Blood or Crip. And niggas join Blood or Crip because they money hungry and they looking for something to be a part of or ain't got fathers. Niggas join the white man because they hate themselves.
Why you can't draw the conclusion? Sweeping legislation. They had Black Lives Matter movement. The president spoke on it. Was all kind of stuff going on. They tried to pass legislation, but hey, dummy, it's already against the law to violate people's constitutional rights. Already against the law to violate people's civil rights. It's already against the law to murder somebody. So what legislation are you going to pass, stupid, when it's already against the law?
To make sure that these crimes get more punishment. Because so often people get a smack on the wrist, police get let off after killing a person, or the city just cut the family a big check and they fire the police, but he can go work for another department and kill the next nigga. And what's the price of a life? Especially when you're paying these families with taxpayers' dollars.
And he went to prison. He's still in there.
So my whole thing is, he's in prison because justice prevailed, and he's as evil as we know he is. But if your way would have prevailed, he would be out, Officer Tatum. What that say about America when you have racist people in these positions like me and Tatum, because we both were law enforcement officers, right? And you have a lot of people like Tatum. I served with a lot of black guys. I couldn't stand them. I knew that this black guy would kill a nigga before the white guy because he got to do something to prove to them that I'm really one of y'all. See, when you try to get down with these white supremacist little groups that Tatum trying to be a part of, well, he's a part of it, you got to prove yourself. And one way you gotta do it is just like with Crip and Blood. The Crip may say, go kill a Blood to get in our game. The Blood may say, look, you gotta shoot a Crip to get in our shit. I'm telling y'all, in these racist police departments, there's a code of silence. The KKK is the police departments. And guess what? They will tell these black guys, prove you one of us. The next nigga we see, if he got some dope on him, right? You gonna beat his ass. We gonna beat the nigga bad, but we ain't gonna lock him up for the dope. That way he can't tell that we beat his ass. Cause if he tell, then we all go down. He go down for all the dope, and we go down for the beating. So you think the young man gonna tell? especially when he know that the corruption go all the way up to the chief of police. Who you gonna tell? Who you gonna tell? In a lot of these cities, they got to bring the feds in to investigate the police departments, but they bringing in the National Guard to police working citizens. America going to hell in a handbasket, y'all, for real.
That's right. What are we talking about? All right. I think gut feel, and why are the white people, why are white people the ones that seem to have, think about the show CNN, 2 black people dumb, the one white lady dumb.
So we don't need to watch no more of this crazy shit. Let's get the callers on. I can't watch too much of this dude without getting nauseated and shit. You know, them coons, you know, they do something to your kundalini. That's why I think that the word coon is even in the word kundalini. Because I'm telling you, if you are a being of light and you got your kundalini right, a coon can really fuck up your aura with they self-hate energy. Hey, what's up, Duke of Memphis? How you doing?
What's up, Sanchez? What's up, man?
You got it. Salutes to you, man. Thank you for joining. Your voice is being heard by the people. Talk to them.
Man, I'm glad you brought this up, man. It's kind of like open something up, man. It's like racism has been used for a long time to me, and I'm speaking personally, man, to like kind of cover up some of this mental shit that's going on. You know what I'm saying? And for some reason, to me, it seems like it don't want to be moved into the front. You know what I'm saying? Like it needs to be. Mental illnesses is going on all around us, man. It's like it's been mutated or something. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm an old school dude, and back when mental illness was a thing, you could like see it in people. You know what I'm saying? Before you even come up to them, or when you notice them, you can know they got a mental illness. But like what I'm talking about mutated, it's like they look like regular people. You know what I'm saying? A regular nigga on the bus. He don't look like he got a mental, you know, until he jump up with a, you know what I'm saying, with a knife.
Yeah.
So you know, it's like it mutated into something else, and like, you know, is racism mental illness? You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like it's like it's hiding behind it too. You know, because a lot of races is showing mental behavior. You know, disorder behavior. You know, from doing what they do. So I don't know, man. You know, I'm glad you brought this up because it is a big problem in the hood, in the black neighborhood, and we treating it like that uncle that used to be freaky as a mug, and we don't want to say nothing too much. You know what I'm saying? So we don't say too much about them, and we let them go out there and shit like this happen, man.
Mm-hmm. The big underlying issue in America, the elephant in the room, is mental illness. We are using prisons to treat the mentally ill. And then when you have when you have that plus the revolving door systems in these communities, and you see the communities that don't have revolving door systems are beautiful, crime-free places. When people say ain't no crime in the white neighborhoods, that's because doing anything in the white neighborhood, they gonna throw the fucking book at you.
Mm-hmm.
And you ain't getting out quick. You gonna sit for a minute. Let me tell you something, man. Violent crimes in predominantly white communities, your ass is gonna do some time, sir. I don't care if it's your first time. Violent crimes in black community, you know how many killers that I seen get back out in a few months? It's niggas in some of these hoods that got more than one body and they out, y'all. I ain't making it up. So you look at rap music and see niggas beating case out the case, body out the body. Oh, that's happy. That's the problem in these hoods. And you know, it's the fact that the people doing the most killing in the hood are the black criminal organizations. They got a lot of money to fund their criminal operations. And because of that, they do got a lot of these police departments on payroll. I'm going to tell you the problem in America. They like to investigate rap music, right? They say, be careful what you're rapping about because the feds listening nowadays, right? You know how long rappers been telling y'all that they got police on payroll and won't nobody investigate them raps? Every other rapper, you show them to me, from Drake to all of them. I got police on payroll, I'ma beat the body. Bro, that's a crime. Ain't nobody gonna look into the cops that he paying? That's crazy. They're telling us the people that are protect and serve us is doing business with the criminals, y'all. And I've been telling y'all that about and Crazy Bone is telling y'all that. That's no different than the Catholic Church dominate the charity industry, but they the reason the world poor as hell, taking everybody land on crusades. Ain't that something? So people don't see, go ahead. That's like the medical industry. They the main ones making you sick. Time out, they healing you. Everything like that with the police, man. They the biggest crook. My bad, bro.
And them pills and them drugs, it's an experiment every day anyway. I mean, if you're a person that watch TV like me, man, it's a new drug every day, man, with a new name and everything.
And 10,000 side effects.
10,000 side effects, and we witnessing these side effects, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like we kind of like use the word, you know, a big bad motherfucker, hard motherfucker, he don't mind being called crazy, you know what I'm saying? But don't call him mentally ill, though. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of crazy motherfucker hiding behind.
Hold on. You gotta repeat that, bro. That is really something they need to hear there.
About the crazy?
Hell yeah, that's a bomb.
Yeah,
there,
man. We use it like it's normal language now, and like, bro. The tough nigga in the hood, he don't mind being called crazy. That's a crazy motherfucker. He crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, these girls be like, boy, my boyfriend crazy as hell. That mean he'll kill you just for looking at me. That nigga mentally ill. Why you want to be with that nigga? See,
or in a regular conversation, man. In a regular conversation, you'll hear him saying, "Oh, my nigga, he crazy as above." You know what I'm saying? It's like it's normal, man.
Yeah, man. They will adopt crazy as a nickname. Crazy this, crazy that. Hey, Crazy Bone is the one that's telling us the truth, though. But that's ironic, right? You know, I'm just saying. But we say crazy when we really should say, "Oh, he mentally ill." And if we would say that, it would hit different. The energy would be different. Yeah, it'll make you want to deal with your illness that's in your mind. But you right, they gave us the word crazy as a real psyop to make us not deal with these mental illnesses, which is very profound to point out.
And I ain't gonna lie, man, it's all around us, man. You know, in my family and all of that stuff, man. And you can see it, man. And they don't want to be called a mental disorder person. You know what I'm saying? So we'll say crazy. Get your crazy ass up out of, shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
That boy crazy as hell. We normal, and it's always a few crazy folks in every hood, and everybody know who them crazy folks is.
They know them.
And we know, don't mess with that nigga. He crazy, boy. And a lot of times that means, that nigga will kill you. His mind ain't right.
He'll kill you.
You know, but we got them functioning in regular society, trying to force them to function in these communities, and they're endangering everyone, not just white people, which is why the biggest victims of black violence is black people. And because America kicked the can on mental illness, because they treat it in these white communities, but they don't treat it in the black communities. They just throw the prison industrial complex and capitalize off of it, right? So That's what I'm saying. So when one of our mental ill bleed off into the white neighborhood, don't make it a black thing. It's a problem America been neglecting in the black community, which is why my mama and your mama ain't even safe going to their little day job in the hood, and their biggest threat ain't a white man, it's a black dude. So they keep bringing up black violence to this incident when the dude is a crazy dude and is documented. And like, I think that's the biggest tragedy in this whole thing for America. You know.
And the reason, kind of like what I got on, you touched me on earlier. When I got on and wanted to holler at you, you was talking about the revolving door, right? And they'll let these people back out and have them terrorize in the neighborhood, and you know, have these fear tactics going on. And then the politicians, they come in and step in and make promises that they're gonna do this and that. It's like a little revolving a circle of things that's happening, you know what I'm saying, at one time, you know what I'm saying, on us, man.
And you know what else I'm tired of hearing too, man, which is a conservative talking point? It's these kids with no daddies in the house. Now, Officer Tatum had his dad in the house, and we got a video of him talking gangster and doing the same nigga behavior. You see what I'm saying? So I don't get it. Like, you talking about niggas ain't got the dad in the house.
Man, I just read the definition of mental disorder, mental illness, man. That man fit all of them just by listening to him when you just played the dude. He fit all of them. Because he wasn't like that at first, then he became that, you know what I'm saying? And it cuts on and off. It's like relapses. Certain triggers will make you do that shit.
That right there is called paranoid schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia.
And guess what? It's a way to treat that, man. And where you can literally cure a person, but they don't want us to know it. Because think about this, right? The CIA found out it's certain inaudible sounds and frequencies they can aim in an area to make people more violent at the push of a button. I'm gonna be covering videos on that. Y'all think I'm lying. In the 60s, they had a remote control that can change your emotions. They tried it on a monkey, on a rat, and on humans, and it worked. It'll make a person go from happy to sad to at the put. People think I'm making this up straight out of sci-fi movie. Now think about the people that's supposed to be governing our minds, which is the government. If they want to dumb us down and keep us on a low level, they will make mental illness normal. In a world where you got the leaders who governing the minds of the masses, you will see that most of the world will be suffering from some kind of mental illness, even if it's mild. Because if you think about it, capitalism is a mental illness. We've normalized mental illness for the sake of creating peasants and a crab in a bucket mentality where the rich get rich, poor get poor.
And just like you said, man, it ain't no place for these, you know, I really do believe they need to have their own facilities, you know what I'm saying, to get help. Just like you said, they can be treated. They can be treated, but they just don't do it. And just like you said, I remember when you pointed right in the goddamn camera, man, America dropped the ball on this one, man. And they kind of hiding behind racism to me. It's like racism is always comes up in incidents like that.
Yeah. Because if they deal with mental illness, that's gonna stop the whole agenda of the New World Order. The whole New World Order agenda is corrupting the minds of America. So whenever we see these little skeletons get revealed in America's closet, which shows you that we've been neglecting the mental illness to the point where ain't none of us really safe, because you don't know who the crazy nigga is, because medically it's a HIPAA violation. And just like a sex offender who got to let everyone know, it gotta be public record, guess what? I think we should know the crazy motherfuckers with 14 prior arrests. He's violent and he on meds for some mental shit. We in danger, just like that need to be public record. See, and
we do the sex offenders like that. We do the sex offenders like that.
Right. You see? And this way we ain't gotta act dumb like it's a black and white thing. We can literally hit the problem where it's at, where America want to capitalize off the mental ill. They promote mental illness and fuckery in this country regularly, in the music industry and all that. So you know they don't want to talk about mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
They want to use these situations where we can talk about mental illness to further double down on the division and all that, which is just fucking insidious. So
yep. So and then they will have to reveal, because mental illness, it has no racial disparity. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hit every race. So you know what I'm saying. So it hits kind of like hits them hard. It seems like to me when somebody in power has somebody that that's crazy. Like they don't in the past they didn't even want them people to be known in their families. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll hide them. Back in the day, they used to really hide mental illness in the family because it would kind of harm the bloodline or the power line or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They really, it was a big thing back then. But we knew the mental ill people. It was like you knew by looking at a person if they were mentally disordered or mentally ill. It's like it's a mutation now. You know what I'm saying? They look like me and you.
Mm-hmm.
And that trigger, you never know what that trigger is. Just and like that video, man, I don't know what got into that person. That was mental illness, 100, man. No race. Come on now. You can't tell me race had anything to do with that.
At all. Straight up, only mental illness. Yeah. Only mental illness. And the thing about this, man, is that all of the involuntary admissions for the mentally ill, the requirements for voluntary admission are higher in so-called poverty areas than the rich areas. Now, this is my theory. I'm going to research this and look for statistical data, but I have a theory that because a lot of mentally ill people in these hoods and stuff, they going to probably end up getting shot by police or ran through the prison system. It's sad because they ain't criminals. They're fucking sick mentally. And the thing is that in a lot of these communities, for you to involuntarily get that person in some of these institutions that our taxpayer dollars is paying, you got to go through hell and hot water when they're diagnosed with this stuff. They be repeated offenders. We know they crazy. Everybody in the hood know they crazy. They just lock them up and let them back out till something happen. Either they kill somebody or get killed. It happens all the time, and we paying these money into these institutions that only the rich get to utilize, which is why when you go to these prison neighborhoods, they have a place to keep their mentally ill, but they send ours through the prison industrial complex. And it's just sad because I think they do it by making the involuntary admission process damn near just unbearable. I know from firsthand experience what I'm talking about. I'm real talk, y'all. Trust me, because it hurts your heart when you realize y'all can't force them to go to a mental. Nope, they got it. What the fuck they doing it in this place or that place? You research it and you realize, and then they'll try to make it to where the family got to pay all this money. I'm like, taxpayers pay into this. This is an extension of the criminal justice system.
That's a big fact right there, man. I mean, what you just brought up right there, as far as the involuntary stuff, like, do you think that a mental person is sane enough to admit that they need to go?
Let me tell you something, right? This is where it get crazy. A lot of these mentally ill people, here go the thing. Instead of America having a bunch of affordable mental institutions for the mentally ill, they got a small amount of bougie, prestigious, very upscale mental institutions for rich people. So, and I know what I'm talking about. I'm finna break it all down to y'all right now. See, mental illness is health. So we dealing with insurance companies and money and all that, just like, can you afford it? You know, so it's like, so if you ain't got insurance, it can cost you $800 to $1,500 a day. That's the average price. That's just regular. So what black person got $800 to $1,500 a day to have their loved one in this beautiful? Because here go the thing: a person may not want to admit that they mentally ill, but when they see the treatment and the upscale facility that they're gonna be going to, shit, sign me up. This is like a resort. Because these rich people who are mentally ill, yo, the treatment is like, bro, you don't even know you in a hospital. It's like they really healing you. It's a very, and they know, but they don't make this affordable to every. It's just like anything else with healthcare, which is why we be sicker and can't get treated, and you know we suffer with our illnesses the most. Same on a mental level. Sad, man.
Man. I wasn't even looking at it like that. You know what I'm saying? That is crazy. The price of psychological, help. You know what I'm saying?
And what's
probably
crazy
is up there,
because they're treating mental health like a luxury when really it's a public service for all our safety. And if we're paying taxpayers into this service, why are you charging me $800 to $1,500 a day for my loved one who need to go in it? That's because they've privatized these institutions. Like the prison industrial complex. Capitalism stinks, and it aged like milk, not like wine. So you got a lot of people still pushing capitalism, conservatism, all of the isms is just pimping. Pimps talk ism. And ain't none of these isms gonna get us any goddamn way. You notice that ain't nothing called truthism. You can't put no ism behind the truth, nigga. Ain't no such thing as factism. All them isms is the dumb shit y'all need to stay away from.
Facts.
Nah, you know I'm just being funny. I don't mean stay away from all of the isms because the word prism, right? Just saying, but you get what the hell I'm saying. If I say militarism, be militant, nigga, but you get what I'm saying. But yeah, salutes y'all.
Got your peace, Sanchez.
Peace and love, wisdom, thought. Thanks for joining.
Oh, wisdom. Y'all cooking. Yo, peace to the panel. Yo, as you talking, I'm looking up, I don't know if you want to do this, but look up psychiatric hospital, bro. I'm looking at the history of it. Bro, it's deep, bro, because y'all going into what you said, bro. Because basically what you said about it transform and evolve, if you look up the history, yeah, I know you're going to decode it, bro.
Oh, the history of psychiatric institutions?
Yep,
that's what I need to look up. Okay.
Asylums, but psychiatric asylum.
You know they got a bunch of old horror movies and people forget the old history of sci-fi asylum horror movies. They don't make them no more because they was putting too much truth in them. See, people don't even know that Frankenstein got a lot of truth in it. They stopped making shit like that. But yeah, it's a whole history of them doing experiments to control human behavior. And I think we're all guinea pigs. I think when we say free yourself, liberate yourself, liberate it from the socially engineered frequencies and visible warfare that's going for the minds of humanity to make you a puppet to certain agendas and groups versus having your own free thought.
Yeah, because they turned it from lunatic asylum to psychiatric hospital.
You know what's crazy, Wisdom? Trump used the exact word lunatic with this. And when I heard it, I thought about the moon, but I just brushed it off and then said, that's just him using the word. But ain't nothing big to decode there, but I did think for a minute about it, just, you know, just to throw that out there on the panel and to the chat. Salutes to everybody in the chat room. I'm going to drop the link one more time.
Oh yeah, man. I remember that, them creepy ass wheelchairs, you know what I'm saying, creeping through them asylums and shit, and them creepy ass steel tables.
Yeah,
I
and what's
those
crazy, bro, here's what's crazy, right? In the 40s, they had the UFO conspiracies. You had your first nutcases talking about being abducted by aliens in white coats doing experiments on silver tables under a white light. But during the 40s, they literally had people on silver tables. They had their white coats on doing all kind of fucking experiments on their spinal column, brain and mind drilling in the heads. This was a history they wrote out of a very gruesome, like, this could be a horror movie. America wrote this up. Yeah. My bad.
You, bro. But my bad to call you up. That was my fault. But that's the history of the lobotomies.
Yeah, I'm about to go and pull up this history of the psychiatric. I'm gonna chat GPT it. History of psychiatric institutions, I think you said.
Yeah, no, because look, at first it's the wordplay. First you could look up lunatic asylum, and then they what bro said earlier, it evolved to psychiatric hospital, bro. It's deep, bro, because they was doing this in the medieval times. Like, it get deep, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna get us some stuff on that. Yeah, the shift from lunatic asylums to psychiatric hospitals is really the story of how society's view of mental illness changed over the past 200 years. Here's a breakdown of that evolution. The era of, I'm gonna turn this into a fucking documentary. This is why we pay for Chat GPT, not the other shit. I don't know what y'all doing on Chat GPT. For real. This the kind of shit I'm getting up out of it. You know what I'm saying? But see, so this is good to Google here. It's just spitting out shit. Like, there's a lot of history to this area. But yeah, it goes into the word lunatic, reflecting beliefs that insanity was linked to the moon. Because, you know, back in them days, the ancients were very cosmic. And they was dealing with the stars and shit like that, right? There is some truth. Yeah.
Lunatic, they're using the word lunar in it, you know what I'm saying? A lunatic.
They literally say, yeah, I mean, that's it. I do agree with the ancients to a degree with that. Asylum, so early asylums were primarily custodial, meant to isolate the mentally ill from society, often alongside criminals, the poor, and undesirables. Wow. Now watch this. Stop right there, right? Didn't I just tell y'all how in all of the ghettos you see the crazy people?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I just tell y'all that? Chat GPT backing me up with the fact this been this way since the 1800s. I remember when I was a little boy and you ride through certain neighborhoods and folks will be like, look at this nice house. Look at that nice house. I had a weird mind. I not only saw what was there, I saw what was not there as a little boy. I saw that, wow, it ain't a lot of niggas standing out. Wow, where's the crazy people at? Wow, where the hell is the stray dog? Ain't no stray animals? Because when I go to the hood, I see stray dogs. I see crazy people, right? I see, you know, so my whole thing was, ever since the 1800s, they've put whatever they wanted, what was undesired for the rich, they just kind of, and for custodial measures, they put it in like a quarantine section that we now call the ghetto or the slums of America. which is like a human landfill. And they throw up in there the criminals, the crazy people. And think about this, poor people. It just show you in a capitalistic world, being broke is such a sin. And you need to see why these rappers, every other song is you broke, you broke, you broke. But capitalism teaches you everyone start off broke and they gotta work hard to get their money. So why are they looking at people at the bottom who's trying to get to where they at? What that would be an anti-capitalist dialogue, but yet we running that. You see what I'm saying? Because it shows you that America full of shit. The people that work hard don't get the ball out, which is why the rich throw their money up in your face, because they know you just can't work hard and be where they at. They know they soul, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. And they'll brag that too. They open about that. But the fact that they throw the mentally ill, the criminals, and the poor all together, look at the average ghetto. Those are the three pillars of it. Poor people, mentally illness. You see what I'm saying? And criminal activity. We still live in ancient Greece, y'all. That's what ChatGPT just taught us. Like, the hood you born in today ain't no different than the nigga coming up in the 1800s, man. Why do we think shit so different? So this is a lot where we can go into, but basically there was a shift from moral treatment to medical interventions, like electroconvulsive therapy, insulin shock therapy, lobotomy. Basically what you got the rise of the medical mafia. You got rise of corporations saying, let's capitalize off people's illnesses. And when this started happening in the area of mental health, it shows you a very evil side of capitalism. Let's find ways to treat this to where we can all enrich ourselves through medical practices. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what it came down to. And to a point where instead of, dealing with the preventive, the underlying, you think you can cut it out of their head, so to speak. Like, you got people, they drill it in their head, trying to put chips in them. They started inventing stuff to control human emotions. So this was the government's response to mental illnesses. Hey, instead of healing the people, let's just cut their head open and turn it off with a switch. Everyone know when you dealing with the mind, that's a long process of intervention, schooling, therapy. Therapy is very expensive. So if a person is at a higher level of deteriorated mental health, you're talking $800 to $1,500 a day. Therapy is the cheap man's route, and if that don't work, it gets very expensive, y'all. Mental health treatment, no one want to talk about that. Mental health treatment is very expensive, but if you are the government, it's your job to service your citizens to have a good mind if you want to compete with other countries that show you is all a bunch of bullshit, because every country is deteriorating the minds of their masses. And they all got the same agenda. You want to make America great again, don't that start with the mind? Not with waging war with the people in the police states. It's the same thing they was doing in the early 1900s. Let's take all the crazy motherfuckers and torture them. They free guinea pigs. Once we deem your ass as crazy, we get to try all kind of new experiments and medicines. I feel sorry for crazy people back in the day, because crazy people today still get shot by police. They get beat up a lot, locked up a lot, then get beat up by criminals in prison. They mind ain't there, right? America very relentless to that. And Yeah, this is just crazy, man. Because the people who, oh, it's free, don't you know you shouldn't have to pay for mental health? Because the reason that's a humanitarian, a moral duty for you to freely treat mental health for free with taxpayer dollars. You can't capitalize on everything because look, mental health is part of you ensuring the safety of every American. If we got crazy people out there, see, this woman is dead because of the government dropping the ball on mental health. It ain't got nothing to do with racist stuff and black versus white. Anybody pushing that, they part of the agenda. Let's give a shout out to Lou for joining the call. I'm gonna leave the floor open for someone to interject. Shout out to everybody on the call.
Yo, what's good, Sanchez, man? I've been a subscriber for years, man. Back to the reciprocating hyperboloid days, you know what I'm saying? But you was talking about you was just talking about, the asylums and everything. And I know you kind of used to touch on like, the whole the old buildings and all that type of stuff. And like the link, if you look at like the old, excuse me, I'm sorry. If you look at like the old buildings that these asylums was in, they was in like these big grand, like it's incredible, like all like from the 1800s.
Right.
And like the linkage between the mental asylums and the orphanages, because what I'm saying, there was a lot of like orphanages back in the Gap too, when around that time they had a lot of people in the mental asylums, and they had a lot of orphans, what I'm saying, going around. So it's just like, I really ain't had too much to say. Y'all was kind of building on that point. I just want to kind of like, touch on that. I know you could really expand on that.
See, the thing about it, if you really want to go this deep, you had a lot of rise of mental illnesses when environment changed after the last reset. Mental illness, in my opinion, my research shows, it was damn near less than 0% of the world during the golden age. You notice you didn't have crazy people in the Garden of Eden days. You didn't have like the whole concept they give you of the golden age. Mental illness wasn't back then. So mental illness is first of all, for every cause, there's an effect. So everyone we see that's mentally ill, we can trace the roots back to social agendas that are corporate, political, and all of this very evil stuff at high levels, right? Now, and neglect, like what I've pointed out here, which is by intent, because they capitalizing on us thinking at a low frequency. A capitalist system have to compete. Everyone compete for money. So the people that's ruling over us don't want us to think properly, because that's like playing the devil in the game of Monopoly, but he got you thinking on a slower level so you can never win, so type shit. So to make a long story short, right? Trying to see how to put this real quick. My mind all over the place. I'm trying to make so many points at once. But basically, if the people in power, just like the people in the past who was in power, the Caesars, they had dumbed down their society. And in Tartaria, they had a different system of government that wasn't capitalism. It was based upon knowledge is power. In our world, money is power. But there's only one way we all can get knowledge, and that's by exercising the power of your mind. First of all, anytime you in a society that don't promote mental power and teaching you about the power of your mind, you automatically primed to have crazy motherfuckers. These basically are people with minds, but they don't even know what their mind is. They're a victim of their own mind. So imagine that a person whose kidney is failing or whose organ is failing, they're a victim of this organ because this about to be their way out. The mind is a spiritual organ. You rather have biological failures than mental failures. Trust me. because you can't touch the mind. You can't see it. You can't, it's not physical. The only way you can intervene and treat the mind is with time, music, therapy, intervention like that. And see, when you go into that, Tartaria was built on that. The very way that the ancestors built their environment was anti-mental illness or anti-biological illness. Everything around you vibrated higher. The music was higher. Everything was carefully selected. Everything in society, from the architecture, the music, and all of that, for the betterment of the people, which is talking about a government that really cared. That was when we was in power. After we failed and the enemies took over, capitalism became the system, and capitalistic systems don't really thrive off everyone getting smart. They thrive off a few people getting smart and outsmarting the rest, because it's a game. It's me versus you. Who family gonna eat today? Who gonna be homeless tomorrow? Who gonna be broke? He broke the day he fell off, because we all born on a Monopoly game, so we talk and think like that. You hear that a lot in hip hop. He used to have money. He fell off. That's like playing Monopoly and me bragging about winning the game, but this real life. Your family, your children about to be starving. See how treacherous this shit is? See, and the thing about this, everything in capitalist systems is, how can we capitalize monetarily off of it? Now, how can we make a good change, a positive change? So here we are in an age of AI, where everyone that's creating AI is telling you, hey, it's inevitable that it's going to rule over us and it's not going to be good, but we can't stop it. It's going to happen. Why? Because of capitalism. Everything in capitalism is all about a bottom line, not what's best for humanity. And when they do anything with a capitalistic motive, it gets passed off as, well, you can't stop it. It's going to happen anyway, because if I don't do it, the next capitalist going to do it. If I don't sell your auntie this cocaine, the next dealer going to do it. So I might as well capitalize off the opportunity to make the sale. Capitalism has been failing us, y'all. And the real issue underlying all the issues in America, it's the system we built this shit on. And I'll yield right there. So salutes to the panel. If y'all good, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. Maybe I'll drop the link one last time, and I'll let anybody on the call right now go ahead and close out if you want to. And let me give a shout out to everyone that supported the show. No matter how big or small, we appreciate them all. Shout out all my channel members, Patreons, and my Cash App supporters. $ Bro Sanchez TV for the Cash App. And we appreciate you so much in advance. We're going to get up out of here, people, so I can prepare for other stuff that I got for y'all. See you on the next one. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
For sure. Peace. We'll revisit this too.